All right, let's turn now to some Illinois politics. Every Monday, we check in on what your elected officials have been up to in Springfield, and now is the time of year when bills are being debated and, for some, signed into law. So joining us with an inside look at Springfield politics is Ben Szalinski with Capital News Illinois. Ben, I want to start with the Safe Guns Storage Act. It already passed the Senate. It's on its way over to the House right now. What is this act, and why was there some opposition from one of our local senators, Neil Anderson?
Yeah, this bill that's on its way over to the House now, it would require guns to be stored in a safe when a minor is present in the home. So this can really apply to a number of situations, whether a minor lives there or whether there's going to be a minor coming over for a family party or something. It's pretty controversial in large part because gun owners would be subject to some pretty huge fines if a minor or another person prohibited from having a gun would get access to that firearm, especially if it's not properly stored. The other thing is if a gun is lost or stolen and the owner doesn't report it within 48 hours, the Illinois State Police could take their FOID card. And that's where Senator Neil Anderson is pretty opposed to this law. He's arguing that the Illinois State Police can't unilaterally take back a FOID card, only the courts can. Now, this is a much broader issue than just specific to this bill. This has been brought up in front of the U.S. Supreme Court several times. So this is kind of just one area of Republican concerns about this bill that would have a lot of new requirements for gun owners to follow.
Yeah, I can see why it's so controversial. But another bill that made some movement last week has to do with school mascots in Illinois. I mean, it already passed the House. What does this bill say?
Right. This is a bill that would prohibit schools, K-12 schools specifically, from having Native American mascots as part of their athletic name. So it's believed that this would affect about 90 schools in the state of Illinois. This is going to be ranging from names on the Indians to the Chiefs to the Braves. You won't be able to have those names starting in 2030 under this legislation. This has been talked about for many years. Representative Maurice West from Rockford, he's been pushing this bill a number of times. It's never fully gotten out of the General Assembly and onto the governor. It's been part of those larger discussions about racial issues in the country, but it's also important to note it doesn't change any pro or college teams, so that does mean the Chicago Blackhawks would be unaffected by this bill.
Well, let's turn to the road. I know this one has been important to a lot of our viewers. Have been asking about the bill about senior driver's licenses. I mean, right now, if you're 79 or older in Illinois, you have to take a driving exam to renew your license. So what would this bill that's also already passed the House change?
Yeah, this bill has support from just about every member of the House, actually, but it doesn't abolish the road test for seniors entirely, but it would raise that age from 79 to 87 in order for a senior to renew their license. So once drivers turn 79, they're still going to be required to go in person to the DMV to renew their license, but they won't have to actually get behind the wheel with an instructor from the state to pass a test in order to renew their license. Importantly, though, it does create a way for family members to actually notify the Secretary of State if they believe a relative should probably not be renewing their driver's license. So this is kind of an important safety mechanism that lawmakers have added into state law that kind of address some of those issues from people who might be a little bit concerned that, gee, it's, raising that test to almost 90 years old, it could be an interesting idea.
I mean, this one came directly from the Secretary of State himself, right?
Yes, exactly. So this has been an initiative of Secretary Alexei Janulius. It's also an initiative of a constituent from Representative Jeff Kiker, who's out in the DeKalb County area.
All right, Ben, last one for you. Let's take a look at a health care bill. This one also already passed out of the Illinois House. It's now in the Senate. It has to do with AI and health insurance. What's going on here?
Yeah, over the last few years, we've seen the General Assembly take a lot of action on artificial intelligence related legislation, new ways to try and regulate it. And this bill would require that AI cannot unilaterally make decisions about health insurance. So it would require that a human being actually has to review any decision about health insurance coverage that AI makes that would either deny, reduce, or end health insurance coverage for somebody. This ranges from simply, prescriptions to surgeries. And it doesn't mean that AI can't be used as a tool in these decisions, but the idea here is really to ensure that a human has the final say and can override that decision from AI. Companies would also be required to disclose when they are using AI for decisions about your health insurance. So people might, if this bill does go to the governor's desk and is signed by Governor Pritzker, people might see some differences in how they find out that AI is actually being used in their insurance.
Very interesting. Ben, as always, thank you so much for your time and for your reporting.
Thank you, Shelby.
And for you guys at home, you can check out more of CNI's Capitol reporting by heading over to WQAD.com. We've compiled their stories underneath the As Seen on TV tab at the top of the homepage.